Channel Y. Channel Y. A South Asian Canadian channel.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media. Y Media. Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian Pulse.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का #1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
Television. You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
This part of the program is brought to you by Midweek Newspaper, published every Tuesday.
Hello everyone, my name is Jadoo. I'm the group editor at Y Media and we have the Minister of Immigration, Citizenship and Refugees, Fraser, with us. Minister, a very warm welcome on behalf of Y Media. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome, and we recently heard announcements regarding express visa entry and so many other things. So why don't we listen it from you first, please?
Yeah, sure. So look, thank you so much for shining a light on this important policy change. This is something that is going to help thousands and thousands of people who've been struggling, not having the peace of mind, knowing about their ability to stay or to continue to work in Canada. So the crux of the announcement is for those who've had a recently expired or soon to be expiring postgraduate work permit, we're going to be transitioning them to an open work permit, which will give them permission to continue to stay in Canada and to continue to work. At a time when the economy is suffering from an acute labor shortage, it's really important that we protect against doing further harm that would result if these people were forced to leave Canada and to lose their jobs. By making this policy change, we're going to allow them to continue to work in Canada, to continue to stay, and to give them the peace of mind that comes with knowing they won't have to go. To your second point on express entry changes, one of the things that's really, really helpful is we've been working very hard to reduce the number of cases that are in our system. We've had more than a 50% reduction from almost 112,000 cases in the high-skilled category down to about 48,000. And by July, we're going to be in a position to resume draws for the federal skilled worker and for the Canadian experience class. And we'll be back to the ordinary service standard that existed without further delay before the pandemic.
All right. And you will also make some other announcement regarding postgraduate who were here studying and the study work permit. Of course, students were quite concerned. We got a lot of calls for that. Please explain that as well.
So the postgraduate work permit, and I touched on this a moment ago, it's an incredible program. So for international students who come to study in Canada, they have access to the postgraduate work permit that will allow them to remain in Canada for a period and to work for Canadian businesses, often in the field in which they were educated and which there are gaps in the Canadian labor force. As a result of certain circumstances people faced over the course of the pandemic, we were required to extend the period of duration for a person to continue to benefit from this postgraduate work permit. There's quite a few people who had expiring or recently expired postgraduate work permits. And what we're doing for those individuals is transitioning them to an open work permit, which will allow them to stay in Canada and continue to work for Canadian businesses and make a contribution to our communities and to our economy.
And there's a follow-up question. When we announced this, there are few who are asking that from last year in October till January this year, there has been a gap left which are not covered with this program. So they're asking this question.
So the program that we initially announced captures the vast majority of people across Canada who are in this circumstance. But I'll be honest, I'm not a politician who's going to sit in Ottawa behind a closed door and pretend that everything is perfect the minute you roll out a policy. I've been hearing the same thing that you have, and we're looking right now to examine the number of people who are impacted and the nature of their situation, and to the extent that we have to look at adjustments to make sure that we don't do harm to the economy and to include additional people into the policy. It's something that we're willing to look at. I want to make sure that this policy is construed as broadly as possible because I believe it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the individuals in this circumstance, but it's a good thing for the Canadian economy as well. So we'll dig in, and once we have completed our analysis on how many people are impacted and the extent to which they're impacted, we'll look to see if we need to make any adjustments.
That'll be great. And also, there are still concerns regarding the parents and grandparents. They say there's still a backlog.
Yeah, so one of the things that I find to be a real challenge with the Parents and Grandparents program is that the supply and demand mechanics of the equation are completely, they're enormous compared to all other streams in Canada's immigration system. And if I can be frank, this is the most challenging immigration stream that I deal with. Just to put it into perspective, this year we're targeting 23,500 individuals who can be resettled as permanent residents through the Parents and Grandparents program. I intend to increase that number over the next 2 years to get to 32,000. But even with that increase, just to provide a caution to those who may be listening, we receive in excess of 200,000 applications through this stream in certain years. And of course, the total that we've resettled last year is just over 400,000. So we're going to be in a difficult position when you try to create as many spaces for as many people as possible, knowing that you'll never satisfy that intense demand. That's why we continue to look to programs like the Super Visa program that allows people to stay here longer, to be with their loved ones, even though they may not have been selected to take part in the Parents and Grandparents program. We're constantly looking at ways to improve this so we can bring more families together and make sure that people have the opportunity to come to Canada and be with their families.
All right, Minister, wish we had more time, but last time when we spoke, you did talk a little bit about digitalization, getting the immigration system attached with technology and so many other reforms. That'll be the last question. Anything that you want to quickly touch?
Sure. It's really important that we constantly invest in our system, and there's a few different ways that we're doing that. One is by putting more resources toward the system. In the fall, when we spoke last, I believe I shared information about an $85 million investment to reduce wait times for work permits, study permits, temporary residence visas, proof of citizenship documents, and PR cards. In the recent federal budget, there's another $385 million that's going to help improve the quality of our immigration system. We also hired 500 more people to help process cases more quickly. So that's on the resources side. The second piece to the puzzle is the technology side. We can't expect to have a 21st century immigration system if we don't embrace 21st century technology. We're in the middle of the biggest digital platform modernization in the history of Canada's immigration system. There's more features that have come online in recent months, and by this summer we're actually going to have 17 different lines of business where you'll be able to apply to come to Canada through a digital portal. This is really exciting. We've already had functionalities come online this year that allow people to get status updates on their family reunification cases on their phone or on their laptop, rather than having to call IRCC or their MP's office, who can then call someone in the department to get an update. It'll be much faster, it'll reduce the demands on the system and improve the quality of service people enjoy. But the final thing that we need to do is we need to continue to grow our immigration level space. I have significant ambition because I believe immigration is very good for the economy and it's very good for our national interest, both in the short term and the long term. You're going to continue to see, as long as I'm the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship for Canada, a continued increase in the overall ambition of our immigration system, because we believe that immigration is a good thing.
Thank you so much, Minister, for all that update, and we wish you all the best and looking forward to chat you in the future. Thank you so much.
I look forward to it as well. Thank you so much, Yudhvir, and I look forward to our next chat.
Channel Y, a South Asian Canadian channel.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media. Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian Pulse.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का #1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
Television. You are watching Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
This part of the program is brought to you by Midweek Newspaper, published every Tuesday.